January the 25th. I woke up this morning to a comment on yesterday's video that told me what a fantastic job I did. It made my day. So thank you, Fran, and thank you, Sarah, for your never wavering support of me. Today I want to start with a little story. It takes us to Mount Pleasant Road and Brixham, Devon, that's in England. It's early in the year, like right now probably. John Lane Phillip has rolled up his sleeves. He is in the process of building a terrace of houses. The land belongs to him, just a 5-minute walk away from the picturesque harbour of Brixham. Philip had bought it to work it as a limestone quarry. So he is toiling along. I imagine him just preparing the ground for the houses because he is using a pickaxe. And this pickaxe vanishes. It disappears, it is swallowed by the ground. Probably John cursed everyone and everything around in the vicinity before he starts his search for his tool. We know all this because searching for his tool meant that John squeezed himself through a hole in the ground into a cave, much like Alice, I know. A totally unperturbed cave at the time. No one had set foot into it for hundreds of years, proven by the fact that the stalagmite floor was found to be intact when the men from the Geological Society of London came in May 1858 to excavate the cave. What they found beyond stalagmites were 36 Paleolithic artifacts, bones, some of already extinct animals, species like our oxes and woolly mammoths, some intentionally split to get to the marrow, along with stone axes which could only have been fashioned by humans. This was the day prehistory started. No, really. Even the most learned men, in Europe at least, assumed at that time that the universe didn't even exist prior to late October 4004 BC, when God split light from darkness and created everything in 6 days. You know the story. There had always been doubters, like Leonardo da Vinci, who understood that fossils and what striae in the geology around him were. But their beliefs didn't manage to shake the existing mood of the mainstream. The Brixham cave finds, along with other evidence for the coexistence of humans and early animals, did. And then the button dropped out of human history. The problem was, and still is, that prehistory turned out to be a very long period of time, more than 3 million years, and there are phases of literally thousands of years for which the only evidence of hominin activity we possess is a single tooth and a handful of pieces of shaped flint. There are several different reactions I could take us from here, but for today I want to stick with the idea of time. What is time? What is space? The only thing we really know is that it is a useful data structure that helped us humans so far to understand our reality. But it wasn't always the same thing. Our system of time, for example, is built on fractions of 6 and 12, mainly because of this, the human hand. When you count the segments of your fingers leaving out the thumb, you'll discover that there are 12 of them. And these stood for the 12 parts of a day and the 12 parts of a night. How long each part of a day was depended on the season and the length of a finger, I guess. Clocks were an invention of the Middle Ages, and that we are all more or less in sync is something we have to thank trains and railway companies for. In general, a quicker means to travel through space always led to more accurate timekeeping, or phrased otherwise, more importance was put on time. Moving one more layer out, our perception of reality changed. Time became smaller, down to the minutes, seconds, and milliseconds, and at the same time bigger. We discovered 3 million years we had lost. The same goes for space. It still happens today, by the way. It's not a static system, because time and space, colors and shapes and everything really, They are all an interface through which we look at the world. A simulation, something fashioned by evolution to hide reality behind, so we can create and control a reality we can function in. And this reality isn't static, just as time and space isn't static. So, did history exist 3 million years ago? Or only existed since 1858, when the good men from the Geological Society of London found evidence of it in the Brixham caves? The answer is, it exists when we need it to answer our questions and to form our thoughts. When no one is looking, nothing we consider real is existent. And yes, everything I just said can be backed by biology, physics, neurology, science. Our thoughts really shape our reality. So make a habit of it. Think. If my stuff blows your mind or simply amuses you, share the clip with your friends. Thinking together is where the magic happens. Thank you for shaping the reality of a moment with me.